to
Page number
understand.
53 on your
but-
document, and salaries are on the board.
Judge Howard, please proceed, sir.
Not yet.
All right.
Salaries will be on
Are
the
we
board.
starting already, or we always been?
Most of, as you know, a lot of our budget has been attributed for the past several years has been the rent on the juvenile building, which also houses the adult probation out of General Sessions Divisions 1 and 3. With the move to the courthouse, that money obviously is going to vacate and leave us, which is fine. But we saw it also as an opportunity in looking at some increase of some of the salaries that we have for Magistrate Begley, for example. Mr. Hickey, we're asking to be a change of his designation to Legal Services Director. Alan is a lawyer as well. Ms. Tennant, who is our court director, and we've got a couple more, our intake supervisor, and then Ms. Stubbs, who is a lawyer as well, who has come over to the court as our assistant legal service director. And both Alan and Ms. Stubbs both manage various aspects of the things within the court. And then obviously Magistrate Begley is a judicial position, and we're asking to raise her salary to something commensurate with some of the other magistrates around this area. As detailed in our 5-year plan that we have submitted previously, it had been on my radar to appoint a part-time magistrate to help take some of the overflow of cases so that Magistrate Begley and I are able to more concentrate on the trials that we typically do. I tried somewhere in the neighborhood of 25 cases last month. Magistrate Begley much for the same as well, and these are things that go sometimes all day, sometimes multi-day, and it's an opportunity to allow a part-time magistrate to handle some of this day-to-day work for delinquent cases, truancy cases, child support cases, so that we can focus more on and I do almost exclusively severe child abuse cases and terminations of parental rights. But this would allow these individuals to have an increase in their salary commensurate with an increase of responsibilities, and it still falls below, I believe, the overall expenditures from last year, including the rent, and it would only increase our spending somewhere in the neighborhood of about 2%.
Any questions for Judge Howard? Okay, thank you, sir.
Well, thank y'all very much. We're pretty much in line, so we certainly appreciate your time. It'd be mighty cool if you did this for us. So.
Are you looking forward to your new accommodations?
Yes, I am. I've been on Howard Island now for 4 years. I have told stories of it being a former grocery store. I've told stories of it being a former pill mill raided by the FBI in the middle of the night. And now it is, as in true juvenile court fashion, a juvenile courthouse. So yes, we're very much looking forward to going to the new courthouse, and I tend to go up there a lot and just wander around and sit in the silence because I don't get a lot of that. So, but yeah.
Thank you.
Thank y'all very much.
Thank you.
All righty, circuit court clerk.
Not here, we're ahead
Yeah,
of
we're not-
schedule.
yeah, we're way
quite a bit.
ahead. Yeah.
I'll take Catherine's budget if you want.
Okay, so we have, no, we have ag extension.
Nobody's here.
We got nobody here. Do we want
We got everything.
to, well, let's look at finance.
Click finance and we'll start going down to
Can I just drop back for a moment, because I was asking Beth questions. I was still stuck on the call center people.
Where's your flow chart?
Like, I didn't understand, like, when Beth was explaining to me that they have 7 steps that they train up to. And I just want to make sure that we've captured that, and
We do, that's what those extra little amounts go to. the
it's all in there.
Yes.
That's what this would be.
Yeah.
I was just
Okay.
confused.
So
on
they,
the director had said there was just no percentage increase, it was 18%. So like,
When they advertise up to $25,000 for the one that they nationally advertise. So they're asking to put the salary they advertised up to the maximum.
So they advertise more than their budget was?
Yes.
Yes, that's what it looks, I caught that too.
Oh, I mean, so I was like, that's not 5%.
Okay, I'm playing poker, here's my hand. Anybody, we go ahead and do finance?
Well, Catherine's here now.
Well, we do,
Do circuit first, I wish.
Yeah, Ms. Strong?
She's on page 48 and the salaries are on the board.
Now we're ahead. Guess it's going well.
Well, we hadn't started slashing yet, that's the one.
All right.
Just let nobody
You
feel.
got your machetes.
We're luring you in today, make you feel at ease.
It's a feel-good day.
I don't
All right,
like the decision.
go ahead.
Here's my budget. Not much has changed other than salaries. I asked for an increase on top of, at the time we did it, we didn't know what the cost of living would be. If anything, so I've lost 3 people since January. And the smallest amount anybody has asked for that I've interviewed in the last couple weeks is $21.50 an hour. And that's from a 22-year-old. That's what they're making right now, working for a marketing place. So, I don't know. I'm interviewing for multiple positions right now. The biggest thing is I've asked for an additional employee because when the new judge begins in September, I have to, by statute, I have to provide a courtroom clerk for every courtroom. And there's no way I can take somebody out of the office right now and put them in the courtroom all day, every day, with what I have. On the overall budget, I've reduced some areas where I thought that I could. Some of that I think will reduce more once we get in the new building. Like, I really think my printing, I'm hoping, I'm always afraid to reduce my jury expenses because you just don't know. But that has consistently been lower and lower, and so I'm hopeful in the next year or two that number will actually be able to be reduced quite a bit. My maintenance agreements, I reduced some. I think I'll be able to reduce that more because I'm going to be able to reduce the number of copying machines, postage machines, but some of that I just need to get through a new year in the new building and see if other expenses pop up that I wasn't expecting. But I did reduce some of that I knew I could comfortably at this point.
Well, almost all of yours just comes from, almost all of yours just comes from, it looks like some
Salaries.
increase in personnel, adding that, and then the result of life insurance.
Yeah, I didn't ask for any. Within the main portion of my budget, I didn't. I think there was one line item I increased a little bit, but that was more than made up with what I reduced.
Where'd you say the new position was under?
It's at the very, very bottom of the salary.
What is the new $10,000 for legal services?
Oh, now that, I did request a legal budget, and I do recognize that our contract, or our
Private Act.
private act, I'm like, oh, that's like the third time in 3 days that words have completely not come over my brain. For certain things requires that, or prevents us from being able to get outside counsel unless there's a conflict. But despite our private act also stating that the county attorneys are to advise department heads, our county attorneys have made it very clear that they represent the county commission. And so there seems to be a lot of conflicts when that arises. And so it also took me 4 months to get personnel policies approved that are very, very basic and very simple. And the statute actually does allow me to hire outside counsel for that. And I was about to do that when Mr. Sittler stepped in and was able to get that done for me. But I mean, if I have other issues that should take 2 weeks and is gonna take 4 months to go back and forth on something very simple with our legal department, I'm gonna need some funding for counsel. And if there continues to be lots of conflicts with essentially unable to advise us because they represent the commission.
I have a question on a different note. I'm looking at your org chart here.
Yeah.
You've got 34 total positions and 17 of them are empty. How do you do that?
What?
Which did I get that?
You've got names
last
in
one.
about 17 of them. And all these are blank, is that just, their names are not?
Oh, so no, that's intentional because, so this is what it will look like, when
Oh.
we move.
Oh,
And I have not advised my staff, like, I have not, I'm pretty sure I know who I'm promoting to cost collection supervisor, but I have not informed my staff of that. I have not informed my staff of all of this, so I was not about to make this public record before I'm able to tell my staff which, if I'm moving departments, the ones that I know for sure are not moving, but all of those positions are filled.
okay, so you actually have 34.
I do.
Including yourself.
If that's how many's on
That's how
there,
many's
yes.
on there. All right.
Yes, and like this right here, I've actually just hired, they're starting in 2 weeks.
Okay, all right,
Or next week, maybe?
all right, thanks. I was concerned that we had to double your employee base.
No, I didn't, you understand?
Yeah, I do.
I didn't want to put that out there and my employees find out something that, I mean, plus it's a, when we move, right now we're split up by general sessions, circuit, and juvenile. When we move, we're gonna be split up by criminal, civil, and juvenile, and cost collection. So there's gonna be quite a bit of shift in the next couple of weeks, and we're still hammering out some of that.
Okay, great.
But I'm happy to, 1st of June, when we get moved, I'm happy to send something to y'all that finalizes that.
That'll be great, thank you.
So I'm just confused between the move and the move. Like, so the physical move, but you're also promoting some people when you move?
So I have yes, I was,
So there's two moves. There's the physical move and then there's a move in the promotion of people.
and like, so I have some cost collection people right now, but in the new building, we have a specific area for receiving those payments. And so they will actually physically be moving into that area, and we're still making those decisions on who all that's gonna be in the cost collection department.
So right now, everyone's called a deputy clerk, but these are all really maybe somewhat different positions.
Well, they're just in different departments. They're all
But
deputy clerks, except my supervisors.
They're all collections?
Except the supervisor.
Okay, so all these people are collection clerks?
No, well, no.
No.
I mean, most of them.
Is there a way that we could get
Most of them
org
take
chart?
money. Most of them take money right now.
Okay. If there's a differential between their positions, could we get an org chart that shows, because it's...
There's not, other than supervisors.
Do you know where they?
So they all do the same thing?
Yes.
Hey, Dave,
Okay.
I mean, 4 different departments. I mean, the work itself is not identical. 'Cause
Are they like this? Does this clerk report to that clerk? Is it like that, or are they all like across? I'm just
no,
trying to
they
read
all,
this.
underneath each supervisor, they all report to the supervisor.
So this person don't report
No,
to that person?
They're all on equal level. I just didn't have the space to do it all out.
Okay. So like, let's take this one page here.
Uh-huh.
These people, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 9,
Yep.
they were all like level. They're not reporting to each other like this shows.
Correct.
All right.
And then the
Okay.
same over there for criminal.
They're
All underneath report to the supervisor. Then all the supervisors report to the chief deputy, and the chief deputy reports to
And then, when we look at these, Mr. Lawing, are they separated on, when we look at the salaries, is this a different salary line from supervisors, from director?
No.
No.
They were all under the one.
They're coded different for whatever purpose.
you can, I
What do you
mean,
mean,
I
name?
kind of figured it out
Oh,
from
like
the
that.
salary lines.
Yeah, those came from that
Clerk-
job.
Whatever, yeah, the job classification from the study they did or whatever.
We put them all in, just try to match them up.
Yeah.
So I was gonna ask that, Mr. Wong, sorry, did you have any other?
No, I'm
We're
still
probably
not, I'm
gonna
still
finish
not
up.
clear, but I'm not getting any clearer, so go ahead.
I want to make it clear.
No, it's not split.
Well,
I'm
we
working
have
on
it on the state chart of accounts, and the chart of accounts has like your elected official. And you maybe gotta put a chief deputy, but the rest of them's gonna pretty much have to go under that one item.
Yeah, the
You
way
don't have
mine is
all
split
those
out,
different things.
mine is on a separate line item, but everything else on here, with the exception of part-time, is under clerical personnel. Or
Yeah,
personnel,
wherever
what
it-
is it,
okay.
how's it listed? Clerical personnel?
Clear, okay.
Deputy clerk personnel?
So I've
something?
got clerical
We can combine it
personnel.
without the chief deputy, there might be enough. there's not enough lines because the state only provides some.
Yeah, it's
I-
all
yeah.
under the same.
So these are all paid for on this line of clerical personnel, this line here, that we're going up to 1.4.
Except part-time. Part-time's under a separate line item.
Part-time here.
Because they
Yeah.
don't provide.
And then who, part-time's up here. Is that your only part-time?
No, I do have
You got
some other
part-time
part-time,
there.
Yeah.
It's like a bingo chart. Okay. You got 4 part-times.
I was trying to make it more clear. I guess I did not.
No,
Yes.
it's okay.
Yes.
So I have a question here real quick.
Yeah.
And Mr. Juan, I think it's to start to you. This one is a little bit jumbled. So it's maybe hard to answer this, but what we've been asking is as close as possible to like versus like market-wise. How are we looking post just the COLA and then post her requested additions? It looks to me like we've got the COLA, which we know is 5%, and almost across the board, it's not exactly right, but it looks like probably another 5 to 6% on top of that. Where does that put us in market?
Now, we've got to remember, we're not comparing apples to apples, but
I know.
from that survey, from all the large counties, they say a clerk 1 and a clerk 2, which she don't necessarily do it that way, starts anywhere between 41 and 48 as of 2023. So if we took 48 times 1.035 would have brought it 51, and the others. So it looks like her range there
It's pretty
after
close.
is pretty close.
So that her lowest one, which is the closest one to a clerk 1, is 39,250.
So so hers are below
And
some
then
of
you
those,
got,
her average.
you've got others who, before you get into, it looks like there's a jump between 47 up to like 53.
But I
That's
think
supervisors.
But her chief deputy.
That's the jump to supervisors.
And
Yes,
they don't
but
have
that's-
supervisors, but they do have a chief deputy.
No,
so-
after hers. It looks like, honestly, it looks like after she adds hers in, it's pretty close to market.
Right, but you gotta.
For
plot
the,
that chief.
for the deputy 1 or deputy 2. Now, we do longevity. So those that have been there longer, I don't know if other counties do that or not, but that also gives a bump for, most other counties, when they get to deputy 3, a lot of times it's like a step where you've been there X amount. And so to factor in the longevity with that, but, mine would be within the range of the deputy 1.
Hers meets the deputy 1 and 2, and then if you see the one for 89, her chief deputy, the average median was 85,977 back in 2023, so 89 now compared to 85 with cost of living should be pretty close. And then the 72, one of those I can't speak, was if she has more managers or less. But honestly, if you take the one chief deputy out, the rest of them averaging, it looks like it's gonna average pretty
It's pretty
close
close.
to the market, yeah.
This is pretty
Once you pull
close.
out the chief deputy, which the chief deputy is pretty close to market too.
Yep. Any other questions for Ms. Strong?
And like my supervisors, it is based on how many people they manage. Like I've got 2 supervisors that manage the most employees, and they make substantially more than another supervisor who only supervises 3 employees. I do base it on that.
And I can say this survey don't show that kind of details because it's not the
No, I mean,
individual
I
we pay
realize,
for.
but I'm
it's
just
the
trying to
detail.
what we're trying to do is make sure that we're not way off. I know
Yeah.
it's not gonna get down to the dollar.
Yeah, yeah.
But like this looks like your lower folks are on the lower end, your higher folks at that level are on the higher end, then there's a step up. I don't know, it looks close to me, looks close. Without micromanaging, it looks close. Thank you for the work. Any other questions? Thank you, Ms. Strong.
Feel free to reach out to me if you have questions. I can redo that if you want something more clear. I like visual charts.
I know, but it's because, when I would look at it for salary, then this person should make less.
Yeah.
Clerk and master.
I just didn't want to do a legal.
I get in
side.
trouble. I get in
Thank
trouble if I
you.
keep talking.
Thank you all.
Thank
ma'am.
you.
Oh, yeah, I want to mark it.
Hello, how are you today?
Doing well, thank you.
Ag extension is on page number.
Clerk and master. Clerk and
I'm
master.
sorry, clerk and master.
What page?
He's on page 52. And is the other stuff's on the board.
and I'm the only appointed department head. We are a constitutional office. The only required clerks in the state are the Supreme Court clerk and the clerk and master. So we're appointed to a 6-year term, and except for malfeasance or not doing your job, we're there for 6 years. So my appointment goes to 2028, and we have basically 9. I've asked for 2 people to get increases. You'll see deputy clerk, it looks like one eye. That is Ms. Davis. She's, I've asked for her and the chief deputy to get a bump up 2,500 because they were well below. I've got 2 Kims there. If we had a nuclear attack from the Chinese and both Kims survived, and I did too, we could make our office run because they are so good. And that's why I'm asking that they get a bump in particular. My background was, I was a special agent in the FBI when I came out of law school, then went and practiced law for 34 years. So I kind of look at this more as a real life world as opposed to government world. As you can see, mine, I didn't go with the 6% like I heard some people have gone by, but I have raised the sum up. Now, one thing that I'm doing right now that I'm hoping we'll be able to continue to do, we have 8 full-time people and 2 part-time people. We had 1 full-time who, her husband didn't want her to work so much, so I've got her working 2 days a week, and I've got another young lady who used to work for us. She agreed to come back and work 2 days a week. So basically, I'm doing that full-time person with 2 part-time people, which is saving the county about $22,500. $17,000 for insurance, $4,800 for retirement, $500 for dental. So, and they both promised me that they'll stay there. I'm going to need either them or a full-time person. So that's going to more than offset what I'm asking for increases. As Mr. Klein can tell you, we've been busy moving. We've got 110 filing cabinets that we've already moved to the new courthouse and put on the 4th floor. Thankfully, we've got that, or we'd be out of luck when this move comes up. And the mayor has been very gracious in getting us the maintenance folks here and some trustees to help us, and we've been actively moving for a month now. And without my 2 Kims and the other staff, we couldn't keep open. We have just exploded in our office. Now, Tennessee has like 290 clerk's offices across the state. We were the 5th clerk's office in the state to go to e-filing, to where people don't have to come in, and that has helped us tremendously, because if we hadn't done that, we didn't need another person, because the attorneys and the clerks would come and just kind of hang out and keep us tied up. And now with e-filing, they push a button and we have the files right there. And it has been a great progress. The legislature passed a bill and put $75 million in it this year to standardize it all across the state, to where it'd be the same here as in Memphis or Nashville. We're the same as Williamson County, Montgomery County, and Rutherford County and Sumner County. We're all the same. So anybody that is practicing in those areas, it's very easy to file stuff. So that's what's coming down the pike, and we're well ahead of people that can do that. Now, as far as what else we're doing, we are going to have to make some adjustments when we get in the new building. Right now, we've got one side that does primarily probate. Our probate has exploded also. When I came on almost 8 years ago, we had invested $4 million from conservatorships and estates. Right now, we have $19 million that we have invested that Kim Cothran, who's sitting here with me, my chief deputy, Chancellor said, the only thing I'm worried about is don't have any money go out the door. Other than that, he's fine with just about everything we do. We're never a penny off on any of the audits. We've never had any findings. And they use us as an example of the right way to do things. And that's thanks to Ms. Cothran and also to Ms. Davis, who does probate. The other area we've exploded in, and it really takes a lot of time, is conservatorships. As our society gets older, we're having, when I first started, we would have an item called an emergency conservatorship, maybe once a month. maybe twice a month. We're having emergency conservatorships that are coming in 3-4 times a week now on some weeks, where we have to appoint an attorney, they have to get them served within 2 days, we have to have a hearing within 5 days, we have to have another hearing within 60 days, and we can't plan for that because we don't know when they're going to come. They're just emergencies, and as our society gets older, we're having more and more of those, where grandma has lost her mind and is out running around in the yard or in another state and doesn't know where she is. So we're having more of those, and the hospitals are having more of those because we're having people that have no family and they can't move them to a nursing home without a guardian or a conservator. And if they have no guardian, then we have to get a conservator who can authorize their move from the hospital to a nursing home. And that's taking up a lot of time, and we have 5 people that primarily do that. Then the other 3, we do civil side. So we call it the sad side and the mad side. The sad side is where someone has died and we do probate. The mad side is where someone has run off with someone else and they're getting a divorce and they're mad. So we keep them busy there. So that's keeping them busy. Miss Davis, who we're asking for a bump up, she's the one who basically supervises on the probate side. We don't have a supervisor other than our chief deputy, and she's a little bit less than what the chief deputy was making for Ms. Strong, but we're trying to get all of our folks up. We've been very blessed. We've got 9 people, and amazingly, they all get along. That's probably because I stay in my little office and don't mess them up, but they do an excellent job. The other part that's hard for us is the Supreme Court has come out with an access to justice. They're pushing that. And they're giving all kinds of forms on how to do divorces, how to do probate, but they tell us we can't provide legal assistance. They come in and bring it into us, and they need legal assistance, but they don't have the money to get an attorney, and we have to take sometimes up to an hour helping someone fill out a probate, a small estate probate form, and get that done so that it can be done effectively. Otherwise, they're out in the cold. So the access to justice is putting bigger burden on the clerk's office, which eventually may require us, in some areas, they have a clerk that just sits there, and when people come in, they provide them forms. We aren't doing that yet. I hope they don't require us to do that, because it's just a mess when you have someone going through a divorce, especially with children, and they aren't represented. And in our country, we have to allow that, but it really makes it harder for the judge and for the clerks. But you can see we're trying to keep things as calm as possible. I think every year that I've been here, Mr. Long, what have I turned in about $20,000, $30,000 a year?
Probably.
So I'm not going to spend money just to spend it and have extra stuff that we don't need, because I'll turn it back and try to save money, because I'm a taxpayer too.
Beth, can you go back to that? I was looking at something.
Now, one of the things that we don't know,
Up a little.
we don't know what
No,
all
just-
we're going to
no,
run
just
into
roll
moving into this new building. They've been doing the,
No, where you were at, yeah, right there.
let's see, fire suppression system testing today.
Is it today?
They're doing it today at noon. They said everything was going smoothly. Haven't gotten an update from that, but that's been going smoothly. We will be moving our computers on the 28th of this month. The state's we're gonna stay on the state system. Ms. Strong is gonna go and have the county do hers, but we're gonna stay with the state. We do our filing just a little bit differently than she does hers. So we're not sure. We may need a couple of things, but the state is supplying our server. We do what they call Tensis, and NextGen. Ms. Strong just does Tensis. The NextGen gives us an added layer of security, and that's why we chose to go that. It costs us $3,000 or $4,000 extra a year with a company called Local Government, which is set up by the Supreme Court. So they should give us a deal, but they have to pay their bills too. But
Is your server in the building, or is it?
not yet. It's on the first floor of the old courthouse right now.
Okay.
We've got 2 guys from the state that are coming, going to physically take it over there
Okay.
on Tuesday the 28th. We set that up yesterday. The other server for our Tensis, which is another system where we can see what has been filed. We have that in our office, and we bought that 2-3 years ago for about $6,000 of money that we had saved up in order to buy that. And so that'll be moved also on the 28th. All of our computers are going to be moved on the 28th. So all of the courts will be closed from May the 28th till the end of that week. Now, under Tennessee Rules of Civil Procedure 6.01, we can do that, but we have to give notice. We're going to put it on our website, and you don't lose out anything. You don't miss a deadline. It's just like there was a snow event or a holiday. So we've all agreed to do that, and that's going to allow us to move. We're going to try to get as much done as we can before the big move, because we're kind of the little dog in all of this fight, and we're afraid we'll get left out. That's why we've moved as much stuff as we already have. And thanks to the good folks here in the out here, we have got a lot of stuff already moved, but we got a lot of stuff more. We don't know exactly how everything is going to shake out. They had to take out part of our public area for this new fire suppression system, but they should have everything put back together then. And then our city, in its foresight, decided to wait until right now to tear up all the roads behind the courthouse. So I tried to get in there the other day, and there was one of those metal plates there, and I got a little car, and I could feel it move. And I found out earlier that some poor lady had come down through there, and her tire had gone all the way down in the hole. So we can't move anything right now until they get that done, but hopefully they'll have that done. If they don't have that done by the end of the month, we're out of luck, because we can't get in the garage to move all of our stuff.
Do you ever have to get, or can you ever get rid of the files, or do you keep those?
No, we're not trying to be up here. We are getting into maybe something like operation.
Okay, well, I'm sorry.
Page 50.
But I still want more what Mr. Klein's saying. I've walked by the courthouse and I've looked down in the basement and it's full of boxes. Are those yours?
Not anymore.
Are they gone?
We've got most of ours gone.
Okay, I won't go any further. I just want to know about the basement.
We had wills back to, well, like several hundred years ago. We had wills there that had not been moved to the archives. The problem we had there was the water came in all the time through the windows. But we've moved all of those to the new courthouse, and there on the 4th floor, Mr. McCoyne is going to build us a cage. And one of the things that I'm really pressing him to do is not allow the public elevators to stop on the 4th floor, because there's nothing there. And if they get out, and we're going to have to really staff the sheriff's department. What Rutherford County does, they close, don't let anyone in after 4:15, and they sweep the whole building. And that's what we're going to have to do, because it is a big building, and there are plenty of hiding places.
Oh, yeah.
So
And Matt, you have to, we're on the archive board together. We just haven't seen each other for a while. I want to talk about archives. It's pertinent to the space.
Any other questions? Go ahead.
Page 56 is the parenting coordinator. They also
Yeah.
work with Mark, but they haven't asked for anything additional.
What's with the pink on this page?
The pink is for, it's nothing to do with Mark, it's actually the, where we pay to house the juveniles that are housed down in Rutherford County when they're arrested. If you look, the history does not support the $350,000 appropriation.
So to say,
Nothing to do with the.
Did that get on my budget out?
Yeah.
Well, no, they're on the parenting coordinator right now.
Okay.
But they were asking about something else on the same
Now, the
page.
parenting coordinator, she has to, we have 3 different courts that can handle divorces. If there are children involved with the divorce, the parenting coordinator sends them information on where they have to go to the parenting program, how either do it online or go to an 8-hour in-person. And she has to do that to everybody that files a divorce in any of those 3 courts. Not quite sure how she got on under us. We don't have anything to do with her budget, but it comes out from us. So,
But not the 350.
and she works part-time, I think 12 hours a week.
When you get up, Mark, can I mention another item on this page before we go to the next part?
Yeah, is there any other questions for Mr. Smith? Go ahead, Dave.
And right here, that $350,000 is for housing the juveniles, and the judge sent over, or they sent us the cost after the judge incarcerates them. The only reason I bring it up, if you look
I
at the
think they're
history, we
done.
have not used
Okay.
Thank you.
$350,000.
They forget to
for
say
several
goodbye.
years.
Yes,
So you
ma'am.
may want to consider that being decreased.
Okay, got
And then
it.
if it starts to go over, we'll monitor and bring it back during the year if there's going to have all this excess budget in there.
Got it. Thank you, Mr. Smith.
If you make that bright red, Beth, we'll get this.
Y'all have a good one.
How many, and maybe I missed it, how many juveniles do we typically house annually or on an average?
It
or-
varies, and it's a per night charge. It's a per night charge based on what the judge incarcerates.
Well, not how much, I just mean, how much volume do we have?
It varies.
It varies.
With that 350, we haven't used it for years.
We haven't used that much or that line.
So it needs to be brought down to like 150 or 2. And I believe we have a library. Which one's the official?
You know what, no, they came in late, there's more.
No, Aggie Extension's not here yet.
No, it's not on, it's here.
Oh, she's not till tomorrow.
It's not till tomorrow, it's not till tomorrow.
I said it's first one.
Yeah, no, that's my fault. That's my fault.
Where's she at? Oh, she's on the very line.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tomorrow.
Y'all can libraries here.
We can do Gallatin Library? All right, come on over.
Am I looking at my schedule right?
They're not here yet.
That's not.
Yeah, we're just here.
But we're ahead of schedule, why do I
Yeah,
keep
you're
getting
ahead of
rushed?
schedule, so
There you go.
Wait, I mean, am I not? right?
They're on page number
We're ahead of
71.
schedule.
And then their salaries are on the board.
I appreciate all you guys for putting together.
Seriously,
these,
I mean, there's
charts.
time on the clock and
It's a concerted effort to get you.
to get me to be quiet.
It's amazing, we
We're gonna figure out some more price
It's making it hard.
We had to start somewhere.
It's good, we got it. We're good.
Okay.
You can put all the Express right here. So
All
that's
right.
it. That's
What days are you
Page 71.
Y'all got these?
What a concept.
These two?
They got them all.
All right. What do you think about this? Do we want to do, before we do Gallatin, do we want to do just libraries written like in general?
Yeah, I think they each have a spot on.
Hendersonville's on till tomorrow.
Hendersonville's tomorrow, so I'll just do this.
Did y'all split those on
No, we can do it
purpose?
this way, that's fine.
I tried to get them all together.
They each have a director.
They all came except for Hendersonville. She wanted to come tomorrow.
All right, okay.
Oh, is all of them right here?
Yes.
Yeah, they just want to go ahead and do all of them, sort of Gallatin move down to other than Henderson.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, we can do it.
There's
but-
one not here. One not here yet.
Westmoreland's not here yet.
one isn't here yet.
Well, hers is not for another hour and 20-something minutes,
We
so.
just want to do these three and then do.
Well, let's just, yeah, we'll march through with Gallatin, Portland and Millersville. Yeah.
We're the best.
All right, go ahead. Thank you, ma'am.
We're not asking for any more this year. We've made some adjustments based on facts that we know electricity went up. We know some of our, costs went up with like our subscriptions, and really that's about it. And we just moved money out of like, office supplies, because we know we can be more conservative with those. And we just we based it on where we've had to move money this year to cover stuff and increase prices, and that's really it.
How many days are y'all open during the week?
5.
You're open 5 days?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're open for 44 hours a week, which is a little bit more than the rest of the libraries.
So when you say, so are you open a half day on a Saturday, or, so you're open?
We do
5?
9 to 6 on Wednesdays and Thursdays. No, Tuesdays and Fridays. Oh gosh, y'all.
No, I'm sorry, I didn't put you.
Wednesdays and Fridays is 9 to 6. Tuesdays and Thursdays is 9 to 7, and then Saturdays we are open from 9 to 3.
And you're taking, nothing on Monday? Or-
No.
No, so it's 44 hours, so 5 full days and 1 half day?
Yes,
That's, okay, got it, that's,
they're long full days.
no, I understand.
But 44 hours.
No issue, I do need to make a committee aware of it.
Go ahead.
I received an email a few days ago that the Department of Labor has made their new ruling, and they're saying as of July 1, 2024, any exempt employee, that means if you're not subject to overtime, has to make a minimum of $43,888, which won't affect us on this one, but On January 1, 2025, that limit goes to 58,656, which means right now this librarian is considered non-exempt, in other words, not subject to overtime. And we haven't treated that way in Kronos or everywhere else, but that means
So we either have to treat them as
hourly, or
subject
we're gonna have to
overtime,
move it
or
to
they
58.
move them.
We're gonna have to be 58,
Where's the difference?
655, yes, 58, 656 by January 1, 2025.
So,
It says the first incremental deadline, and I received this the other day, on May 1st. Yep. The rule focuses on the DOE's authority to enforce compliance and conduct audits.
so that's, I mean, that's a pretty, so we need to make folks hourly.
But we can go to
Well-
Kronos and make them
We
hourly,
don't
or
wanna
we
be
can.
hourly.
Yeah.
Our schedules are insane. I have to work on Mondays and open up at 7 o'clock. We have all kinds of events going on outside of the building being open,
Early this year.
and having to have that many exceptions would be real difficult.
If we pay her hourly, we may end
Means
up
you
paying
clock
her
her in.
more than
That
58,000.
means you clock her in and out.
Yeah.
She tracks your time.
And then when people
So we-
call
I
her
mean,
at
we're just gonna- I
home,
mean, it's just gonna have.
it is what it-
bump. We're
yeah.
gonna have to bump.
You need to bump or tell them that they're hourly and tell them they clock in and out. Because right now, the way we treat exempt employees
All right.
is you do payroll by
We can-
exceptions. You usually, we use vacation
I mean, at
leave.
the end of the day, this is probably something we're gonna need to discuss tomorrow, but, well, we're planning through this, but I
Like
mean,
that, Brian.
ultimately, I think it's probably good news for you guys.
Well,
I
I've
mean,
been
it's
here for
not-
almost 10 years, and I have a degree and lots of experience, and I make less money than some of the people.
That one's already meeting the limit, so that one's fine.
Yeah.
That one's a little under still. That one's a little under. That one's a little under.
Hendersonville's a lot higher.
Hendersonville's already meeting the limit, so they're not safe.
and the whole purpose of this bill is so you don't work people like
No, I
at
understand.
McDonald's,
No,
yeah.
I totally get it,
Yeah.
I mean, I get it. I'm just like.
I know, I heard about it like 6 months ago and I was like, oh.
And it came up after everybody's March 1 deadline, so
What bill is this?
it's the Department of Labor. They determine what the minimum hours, the minimum you have to make it a year before you can be an exempt employee. In other words, there's two types of employees. There's hourly, we're gonna pay you by the hour. Everything over 40 hours worked, I have to pay you time and a half. Those employees, we make them track each hour. In Kronos, they log in, they log out. They use vacation time or comp time to make their 40 hours or what they pay. The exempt employees are assigned 40 hours. If they work less than 40 hours, they should be taking sick or vacation. If they work 50 hours, it just gets wrote off or lost, okay? They do by exception. Right now, they came in with a new rule. As of July 1, 2024, you have to make 43,888. Not an issue for us, they're all up that. By January 1, 2025, which is in the middle of your year, they have to be making 58,658.6 and annually, or they have to be hourly.
So it's a huge jump.
That would be any employee that we're treating, but we're only treating directors as salary, the rest of them are hourly anyway, so it's not.
Is this the same thing that works why the teachers are? That's a different,
That's
That's
different.
a state level thing.
That's
This
a
is
state, yeah.
That is a state level requirement.
What is this?
This is
level?
Federal
This is
Department of
a
Labor,
federal
Fair
department.
Labor,
This is a-
FSLA, Fair Labor Standards Act, and Department of Labor is responsible for determining.
Department of Labor just made a.
And it says on April 23rd, 2024, the U.S. Department of Labor published its final rule, which is way after our budget's name, it's what I'm writing to you now, amending the federal wage and hour law. This rule focuses on increasing the salary threshold for executive, administrative, and professional workers, as well as highly compensated to qualify for overtime. They also increased your highly compensated. In other words, if you have ones that don't meet one of those other requirements, but you made over so many dollars a year, then you were still exempt. They've increased those to July 1, 2024, 132,000, and they've increased January 1, 151,000. These folks fall under the administrative, so they're clearly administrative, but they still have to pass the salary test. The salary test, which is 58,656 a year. So that means on January 1, they need to be making an annual salary of 58,656 a year, or they need to be treated as hourly employees. That's their two choices.
And is this for just government employees?
That's all.
That's all everywhere. You're running your.
That's
interview,
private.
You better get ready.
You better
Can we-
treat them as hourly,
Yeah.
or you better treat them exempt.
It's to
That's
take
why you
care
have
of
so much
the
inflation
assistant
right now.
manager at McDonald's, so they don't work him to death.
I
Um,
mean, it's a huge change.
It's a huge, and the numbers went up even before that.
This
Can
has
we,
always been a
All right,
rule,
so
just the
we're-
amounts have changed enough to make
So,
it
look,
issue.
at the end of the day, we're gonna have to deal with this one way or the other. Are there any questions?
well,
Go ahead.
if we could just like, so, because we're gonna have to deal with this, can I just ask, how many hours of overtime do you think you put in, and how much does she make per hour on the average right now? So that, I mean, this will be our answer.
Yeah, yeah.
So let's do it.
I work at least 7 days a week. Usually on Sundays, I don't do as much and I do it at night. Mondays, I put in full days.
How many hours a week do you
I
put
would say
in?
70. I am on full time and we have emergencies 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
How many hours of overtime would she need to make to get over 58,000 and change?
Based on your discussion now, the PTH, there's no need to even.
Yeah, I mean, what she just said, it's,
That's an extra 38,000 a year.
The
If we paid her-
library will suffer if I only get to work 40 hours.
no, we still want you to work. We're just trying to figure out how to pay you.
Thank you.
Okay,
All right, thank
thank
you.
you, ma'am. Okay, let's go ahead and do, Millersville. Just the ones right in front of me here.
I saw that, we went to an HR class, like, was you with me on that one, Bob? Yeah, Bob was with me at HR, about a year ago, they told us it was coming.
But, yeah, you can't trust what the
Can't trust
kids are
them.
saying.
Yeah.
That's-
What page?
Portland.
Oh, well, this thing.
I'm sorry, which,
Portland.
which library?
Well, Ag is here.
Well, they're not the 45.
But we're gonna go ahead and do, we're gonna go, I call Millersville, we can do Portland. We can do
Oh,
Portland.
I'm sorry, they were.
Whoever,
I'm
whoever
sorry.
wants to go next.
Portland's page 74.
We can do Portland. My bad. I mean, we're,
45A.
I am.
We also are not asking for anything additional other than the just COLA that we, and we're told to add to it and everything. Actually, I, kinda like Gabby, I was able to redo some of my stuff instead of the 5% increase it would normally would be if it was just for the salary increase. It's actually only 1.7%, I think, of an increase, yeah.
any questions?
We've just got.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, sir.
I was looking through all this right here, and I noticed all had done away with their janitorial services, except for Millersville.
I still have janitorial services.
Well, it's not, it still has it on here, $8,000 something for janitorial services. I was just wondering, so all the employees are gonna do the cleaning?
No, sir, we actually do have an employee that specifically is a custodian. She comes in after hours and everything, but that was added to our payroll
Galton
years
has
ago
it.
and everything.
They do it in-house?
Yeah, yeah, it's in-house, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
They did that. All those well, Hendersonville had it, and they did away with it, and then, another had it. did away
Westmoreland
with
may,
it.
yeah, starts like
Others didn't
Westmoreland.
have it,
Mhm.
and Millersville was the only one that still had it.
No, Galton has it, I see
We
it.
still have it.
Mhm.
We're right on the.
Yeah,
Some
they
of them
do.
have an outside
We pay
service, some
hourly
do.
because of the population we serve.
Okay. Okay, so Galton.
Any questions? Go ahead, Mr. Long.
Westmoreland's on page 75, and
Thank you.
they have,
He's not here.
They're not here.
I'm sorry,
Let's do, we got.
it's in Millersville. Millersville is on page 76, and they have a capital request on page 99.
All right. Go ahead, ma'am.
Hello, for the staff budget, I'm asking for the 5% COLA increase, that I feel is what other departments in the county are asking for. I'm not asking for an increase in any of the other budgetary lines, like Gallatin and Portland. I was able to see where we could maybe cut down on maybe some office supplies, maybe some extra activities that come out of our other lines to make up for the difference in the increase in water and electricity and gas. So I'm not asking for any increases. I am asking for a $10,000 capital project fund. Millersville, y'all, we have been so busy, it's fantastic. We, from this day, compared to last fiscal year to this fiscal year, our program attendance has doubled.
That's great.
So we went from 1,444 program attendance to 2,744.
Wow.
That's great.
And so I'm really excited, and so I'm asking for this capital project to allow us to do some minor renovations in the library that will help us more align with the state standards for libraries of our size. Right now, we don't have a designated study space, which is a need our community has been saying they need. Right now, we've been putting them in our multipurpose room, which is also our adult programming room, our young adult programming room, our break room. And so with this, I have a blueprint of the changes that I would like to do. I would like to build a wall with a window and a door to have that be a designated office space. And then that would open up a study space. And then move a wall
You
to
should
allow.
have just left with this crew, you should have just said you need to build a wall.
But I'm just moving the wall so that we can also have a dedicated break room for staff, because we don't have one. So we sit in our cars if people don't need the room. I've talked with maintenance and they're okay to do the labor for this. So this is just the cost of materials.
Well, let's get any questions for her, and then I'll get your note there. Go ahead, Mr. Klein.
Why has your insurance rate dropped by 2/3?
I do not know. That goes through the county mayor's office. I don't handle
It
that.
goes through finance.
Or
But-
finance, excuse
But
me.
what happens with the insurance is it's based on your type of coverage or if you take it. So employees, the cheapest, all the way to families, the most expensive, and also some people don't take their insurance. So your insurance cost is based on people's elections as far as employees.
So I don't take the insurance. I'm on my husband's because I didn't want to have to switch doctors.
She's probably one of them right
And
there.
can I ask, how, Gallatin's open 44 hours a week, how much?
We're open 40 hours a week.
You're open 40?
Monday to, no, yeah.
It's okay, you don't have to go through
No,
it, it's
I
okay.
know my hours.
That's okay, no shame on Gabby.
I would like to know actually.
And,
We're open Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 10 to 7. We're closed Thursdays, Friday 10 to 5, and Saturday 10 to 4.
and we didn't get the hours, how many hours a week is Portland open?
40.
40.
Tuesday through Friday, 9 to 6, Saturday, 9 to 1.
Where are these for capital?
It was on page 99 for $10,000.
99.
So I think it was 99 at the very top.
So it's just reconfiguring those two walls.
Hey, for kids, they requested.
Rapidly growing.
I've got another copy of the blueprints if you're interested.
Yeah, when you get, we need them for the minutes, anything you pass out.
I need 3
Thank you for
copies.
bringing that.
Sorry the copies are wonky, but they were all rolled up, and so I did my best to try to get it flat.
And I don't know anything about libraries, and maybe this goes back to you guys also. Over the years, have you maintained the same staff level? Or, and I haven't went back and looked at last year's, have we increased staffing at libraries? We decreased it, or, and I should have asked y'all, I just didn't think of it in time.
How often employee when we put being a system?
So.
They transferred it. It was built in Hendersonville.
So when we built, let's say when we built your library,
Almost 10 years.
almost 10 years ago, is this the size of staff you had then?
I don't believe so. I think we have a few more part-time staff now, but I have only been in the position about 1.5 years.
I'm just wondering like
So,
how,
We've always had the 3 full-time employees and then the number of part-time employees.
and I'm not thinking
Well,
anything's
no,
wrong, I'm just trying to
I'm just trying
understand.
to- We've had the 3 full-time employees since the library opened, and then the number of part-time employees depends on the needs.
How many part-time do you
Yes,
have?
how many are yours?
So there are 5 part-time and 3 full-time employees.
3 full-time, 5 part-time.
So how'd you get this done?
What, I pulled out the blueprints that we had in the library and I scanned it. Yeah, I just stood up on a chair and I scanned it and then I just uploaded
This
it.
would have cost like $50,000.
Oh, architectural, architect.
I know how to do lots of things for cheap.
And we can't get copies of some of the buildings plans that I've been.
And they're just,
So
we were cleaning out a closet and I found them, so thought I'd use them.
Good for you.
When I had that argument.
Good.
So
I did it in pink so it stood out better about where we wanted to do the transitions.
All right, any other questions? Mr. Wong, thank you, ma'am. And Mr. Wong, you have a note.
Can we go over to the revenues, Beth, and go to the library
Which
fees
ones are
and
part-time?
unopen the history of that? This is something that was I think I sent Ms. Browning
get
to
to her
the
later.
library
I'll
board
have to.
discussion, and they're doing.
There's a lot of
food
questions
drives.
I have with these
When they're
regarding
doing food
that.
drives, they're forgiving fees for written off books, and I think the discussion.
They still have to pay for books, the only time we have to waive fees.
Late fees. So they're waiving, my point being, they're waiving fees for late fines, and the discussion was because it doesn't directly impact their budget. It's okay, but it does directly impact the general fund, and there was a discussion, and it was before your time, where the county sent me and the former, budget director, budget chair over there to discuss with the libraries, because it is taking money out of the county coffers, it is funding the libraries, and we'll go show you their history. It's not large numbers, but over time, their fees have went, if you unhide them for several years back through there, Bethany. And that's kind of just giving them an idea that there is, they went from 21, that one, down to, go on through there. And they were talking over since 2009.
25,000 bucks.
Well, they went, there's not a lot of them, but they are going down because of the.
You following
They're
Gail?
automated renewals, so
Right.
people don't get charged as often.
So you guys aren't
And they
doing.
can renew online, whereas they used to have to bring it in the building to do
So
so.
you-
We haven't waived any
Right.
food for fines, we haven't done that.
That was the discussion at the meeting to
It's
do.
been 3 or 4 years since we've done it, any kind of stuff like
Okay.
that.
But that was, I say, there was a discussion several years back because the fees have been, if you look where they're at now compared to 29 years.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I'm generally all about trying to find ways to get money.
But my point is that there's the discussion that does not have an impact, but it does destroy revenues that are.
I mean, if we, you know, if we need, and maybe we do or don't now, and I appreciate you bringing it up, and I appreciate you doing your duty, but, I mean, I'd probably generate a vote to give the libraries the authority to waive them, but.
It would pay for our janitorial fees, though. I mean, this is people's money.
I mean,
I'm just saying.
But I'm also.
But I mean, that was, and I mean, it was before some of these ladies' times where the current boards, that the same practice was happening, and it went from,
All right.
the last, 20 years, it's actually went down, so.
Any other notes on that one, Mr. Juan?
That was it.
Miller, have we didn't do
Westmoreland.
Do we have an org chart for
And
Westmoreland?
Westmoreland is on page 75, and they have a capital request on 99.
Okay.
No. Westmoreland.
She might have with her. She was
Oh.
out here.
Do we have a Westmoreland org chart? Do you have an org chart?
What page is Westmoreland?
It's okay if you
I was
don't.
gonna say, I don't have one with me. I've sent one in or created one before, but I don't know if I've sent one to directly to y'all or someone else.
Oh, I don't know.
You don't
I was
know?
gonna say,
I didn't
anything I
bring
can
them
get
all.
y'all on by today.
I think
Because I have one
Steve
created.
was bringing them down, I don't know, but.
Yeah, did you guys send one in with your budget request?
I believe so. I can get them.
Okay, I'll look and see
I
if
was
I
gonna say,
can
if
bring it
not, I know
down,
I've
if they
made
did.
one, because I remember that request being made.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I've slept since then, and I have a 1-year-old, so.
Go ahead.
Oh, what, I have no clue what I'm doing. So, I'm sorry.
Nice one.
Sorry, I'm looking at the end of English spiel, so I didn't get to see what we're doing. What do y'all want to hear
We,
from
just
me?
kind of give us a roll-up of what your, I mean, most of the time it breaks down to two things, what the salary change you're gonna ask,
Mm-hmm.
and then if there are any, I understand you have a capital project, that you're gonna ask, so most of the time what people do is say, hey, here's the total amount that we're asking for different, here's how it breaks down in salary, and then here's what we're asking for, just like, we just asked for on the, change for the library layout.
Perfect, okay.
Does that matter?
Yeah, that's good. So, as far as the grand total, like the total budget for our library, I'm not asking for anything extra this year.
Did you ask for the,
Or the COLA, as I said, I requested the COLA.
but nothing beyond.
But nothing beyond that, yes. So nothing like operationally wise, nothing in extra except for the capital layout. For the capital layout, I am requesting for carpet and paint. This year, this fall, September, I believe, is our target date month. We're planning to swap our library around. If you haven't been to Westmoreland Library, for 3 like Frankenstein rooms, is how I like to say, because there's 3 different buildings that we've like added on. When you walk into the front door, it is the children's library. You walk into the circulation desk and story time, all the kids' stuff happens right there at the front door. For patron safety, for the noise level, for the kids, we're planning to swap, and where the adult section is in the back, we're moving all the adults to the front with the circulation area and the kids to the back, so that their programs, they can be a little noisy like kids do. We can better monitor who's in the room with them, especially during programming times, making sure nobody's lingering around the kids. That doesn't need to be. We've not had those issues, but we're just trying to prevent it for the future. So for carpeting, when we moved the shelves and when we redid our circulation desk 2 years ago, we have a lot of faded spots, a lot of tears. Nothing that is a health hazard necessarily. We have some places that they had to cover with little metal plates that we had holes in the floor. And I've got pictures of those if y'all would like to see them on my phone. And when the shelves come down and moved around, there's going to be a lot of scuffs. We have a lot of wear and tear on the walls from the original paint that was put in there. The last time it was painted, I think, was 10 years ago. So just a few things like that that we're trying to get, just upkeep, general maintenance.
So, Mr. Long, I have a question for you. So none of these ladies have asked, I don't think, for any additional market. What does the market look like for librarians? Do we have anything?
We don't have anything for the directors because most of the large ones, or a lot of them are systems, so they would have a system.
Yeah, so it'd be a little.
But we do have, I think it may have had somebody from the library. And their library has historically not been one that's been overpaid. So.
Yeah, but I mean, are we under? I mean,
that's all I was gonna try to see if they had them.
Can I ask you, oh, I'm sorry, no, go ahead.
Currently have 3 part-time people. One is a regular clerk, one does seasonal, she's in college, and then I have a custodian that I have 5 hours a week.
So you have a custodian, that was one of the things that Mr. Brown was saying, that you didn't put in a number for custodian.
Yeah.
Or, oh, I see, it's 58. It's just not different. Got it.
For janitorial services, it's nothing in there because I have a hired part-time, out of my part-time line.
Oh, it's a salary position now.
Yes, it's a salary position. We had somebody that came in once a week. We were paying them, let me see, it was just under $100 a week. They'd come in and they were there for about, I would track on the alarm system when they alarm and disarm, make sure everything was secure. And they would be there for about an hour a week. Our floors were not being cleaned, like maintained how like I would expect them to be. And so right now I had 5 hours a week in my part-time line that I could use, about 12 hours, or $12 an hour. I have a high school student that comes in twice a week in the afternoons. She does all the work that I need, and it's
fabulous.
For about 2/3 of the cost of what it was before.
She gets a job.
Yeah.
That's fabulous.
And I knew her. Her father works at Howard Elementary, so she's a great kid, and it's a flexible position, so she kind of is able to come in 2 days a week when her schedule works. She's a cheerleader, does softball, so
good.
She needs a little extra money for softball.
How many hours a week are you open?
We're open 40. Something that we've been toying with our current staff level. I have one employee that is about to come back from maternity leave. I was on maternity leave last year, but we would love to be open a 6th day a week at some point. And I've been monitoring our electricity and water to see if that's eventually possible. But we're open 40 hours a week. It's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday from Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 9 to 6. Friday, 9 to 5, and Saturday, 10 to 3.
Thank you.
My goal is to eventually have that Thursday open.
So David, what's that number? Did you come up with?
Well, here's what you've got. You've got library clerk, library technician, librarian 1, librarian 2. The library clerk processes circulation transactions, including check-in, out, etc. The technician's responsible for cataloging and interlines, etc. And then there's ones like a librarian 1 and 2 oversee large areas of basically a large library. So you're probably looking more library technicians and library clerks.
And then our directors would probably be like library 2.
Well, they would probably actually be by this description fall somewhere around the librarian 1 or 2.
Yeah, something like
a librarian 1 was back in 2003, 52, 856.
And where are we at?
Well, right now, go on up, Bethany.
57, 70.
She's 53, 311.
So close on that one. What about the clerks?
The other one for a library clerk's about 34, 299, and for a library technician's 43, 493 is the average for all those. So they're one of the lower, and they didn't ask for any additionals neither.
We're on the lower end of it, but you're
a little bit below.
We're a little below. Okay. I mean, given that,
these are above. They'll go to some of the other ones like Portland. If you look, which one did you just click on? But if you look, that one's 48, so it's above.
I will say their children's services librarian's been there 30 years, so
Yeah.
sure, her cost of
These
living
are
each year.
medium, well, I'm talking, these are
Yeah.
median, so it would be.
Oh, okay.
She should fall above and below, but somewhere around, this one's.
Just so you guys know, given that, and you know, different organizations do, I appreciate the librarians here, you know, they're being very conservative, but I also, you know, want to keep things.
They appear a little below.
They're a little below. I will,
On
we're gonna do
average.
this tomorrow, I'm just letting everybody know, I will probably move to make some slight market adjustments in addition to the COLA, slightly.
We haven't offered anyone any more money than they've asked for yet. So this is like a really good thing. I know you're new and you don't know what's going on here, but this is the first time we've offered money that hasn't been
This is
asked
my
for.
third budget cycle. The first year it was handled as a system, and then last year I was in.
Yeah, it's just different. So this is a good
I mean,
thing. Yeah.
I'm not saying exactly, we've got to figure out what the numbers look like, but you guys are, we're
Let
just trying to get people in.
Let me talk through something that's kind of a bit of history that you guys don't know, and she would probably none of these. They went back and did the salary survey where everybody's salaries was adjusted up to 10,000. The librarians were off. Theirs was adjusted like everybody else. At the time, we formed a system.
Yeah, I
The
remember.
one that was in charge of the system library requested to take the total cash and
I remember.
redistribute it as her and the library board thought was the most appropriate. So these necessary market adjustments didn't happen the same as some other departments. So that's one reason you're seeing
Well, I think
some of this. It's created some
I
issues.
we're not, I don't think, we need to look at it a little bit, and I'll work with you later this evening. I think we're not gonna, I think we'll be able to do something small that will, you know, that's not gonna break the bank, but kind of, because these aren't huge adjustments we need to make. But anyway, I appreciate you guys.
That's why I think some of the below
A little bit off.
market.
I mean, well, and that was, I mean, we all in here, one of the things we wanted to do was break down that system in order to like return the power down to the individual libraries, and so this is one more step in that direction. Any other questions?
Not for you. Do you have anything else for me?
Thank y'all. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay,
Okay,
ag
extension.
extension. He's on page 77.
All righty.
Well, good afternoon. My name's Clint Parker. I'm the county director. I'm the third county, there has been 6 county directors in 3 years. So the whole budget cycle, everything has been kind of a mess over the last little bit. But kind of dove in, dissected everything out. Of course, we've hired some new folks, made some adjustments. I think we were able to stay within salaries outside of the COLA request within, $2,000. And then when you look on the other side, looking down through there, as you know, the county's growth, the number of schools, the 4-H programs, the home visits, the farm visits, those types of things have increased. So we asked for a few dollars more in travel expenses to kind of help serve the county. We asked for a couple $1,000s for some computers to be able to update our computers. We haven't had any updates on the county side in quite a while. And then we asked for our secretaries, if they were to pass the CAP certification, the Certified Assistant Program. Of course, that's not a guarantee, but if they pass that, we would like that to be in the budget cycle there. So I think when you look all the way across the board, very minor adjustments in our budget from last year to this year outside of the COLA.
Matt, one thing, can you go back to the salary, Beth, where I can go, this big top first line is actually invoiced. We calculate like salaries, but it's actually invoiced from UT based on what UT's paying the employees and stuff based on.
I remember we went through this. This took us so much time last year.
And then the one below going down, the one
man.
down here is the
Bottom
one
is
we
the
paid.
100% count.
And then the ones down here is the one we paid right here. So this, from this line up is actually ones that are paid through UT.
So, yeah. Man, this is giving me,
Lot
this is
confusing.
giving me PTSD from this year.
That might be why there were 6 directors in 3 years.
So bottom line, you guys were asking for $12,035 more from the county.
Yes, sir.
Than you were asking for last year.
Yes, sir.
Okay, $12,035. Okay, any questions? All right, Thank you, sir.
Appreciate it.
That's quick. Okay, we've done Gallatin, we've done Portland.
So, Portland, are you asking me or telling me?
We need highway and health.
I want all of these org charts redone,
We could do mayor's.
because they make,
Well, oh, he's not in here.
so, I don't know if I'm gonna have to do it myself.
Finance, what page is
So Portland
finance?
has 7 part-time.
Portland 7, Gallatin
And you know, part-time is different between how many hours, if it's a 20-hour or a 35.
44.
Finance is on page 44. Let's start with the non-salary, and I'll point out a couple of things. Based on
Can I just have just a second to clear my mind?
We'll talk about
You give a lot of information at once, I just need a break, just a second.
Boyd's requesting a break.
Before
Yes.
Mr. Long starts, you know, opening a hose pipe of information, if we could just
5-minute break.
like, if we could clear our,
You got it.
you know where I'm at?
You got it. We're ahead of time.
I know, I was
We're ahead of
under,
time. 5-minute break. All good.
I made, I appreciate it.